Susie fractured her right distal radius after she slipped and fell on a wet sidewalk. She underwent surgery to stabilize the fracture with the placement of volar plate and screws. The surgeon has ordered a custom orthosis to help protect the fracture.
Alright, Susie, I've looked at your x-rays and it looks like you have a distal radius fracture. So I'm going to have to do some surgery on your wrist and we might have to put in a volar plate and some screws.
Oh, that sounds horrible. It sounds painful.
Well, I'll tell you this, after surgery, I can refer you to this great OT I know. Her name is Morgan Hudson, and then she can make you a wrist orthosis and get you back to gardening. How does that sound?
Yeah, I gotta get back to gardening as soon as possible.
That's the goal.
Good luck, Susie. See you on the other side.
Hi, Susie. My name is Morgan Hudson, and I'm going to be your occupational therapist. And what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to make you a circumferential wrist orthosis. And what that is it's kind of like a cast, but it actually can be removed. And it's going to start about here on your arm, so you're going to be able to move your elbow, and it's going to end around here in your palm, so you're still going to be able to move your fingers. And it's going to cover the front of your arm and the back of your arm. And what this is going to do is it's going to kind of protect and stabilize where your radius was broken and give that bone some time to heal with the volar plate and screws. And you're going to wear that for a little while until that bone is a little healed and ready to go. How does that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you, Morgan.
This is the pattern that will be used to create the circumferential wrist orthoses. Something to keep in mind when creating this pattern is to make sure you measure the length of the client's arm from the distal palmar crease to 2/3 the length of the forearm, and then to also measure the width or the circumference of the individual's arm to make sure that both ends will come together on the owner's side and be pinched when the material is activated.
There are a number of considerations to keep in mind when selecting the appropriate thermoplastic material for crafting a circumferential wrist orthosis. This type of orthosis surrounds both the volar and dorsal sides of the hand and forearm. Therefore, a thin material is best. 1/16 of an inch would be the appropriate thickness. The material chosen could be perforated or solid. You may ask your client if they have a preference. However, perforated material may provide more breathing room for the skin. When this orthosis is fabricated on the client, the dorsal and volar ends will be pinched together along the ulnar aspect of the forearm. This requires the material to be coated. Additional properties to consider would be ensuring the material has good elastic stretch and full memory. Orfit and Aquaplast are both two types of thermoplastic material that would work well when crafting this orthosis.
There are certain factors to consider when fabricating the orthosis so it properly fits the client. The orthosis must end proximal to the distal palmar crease to ensure the client can make a fist that is functional. Additionally, the thenar eminence should be cleared to allow the thumb opposition with the fifth digit. Edges are smooth, with all corners rounded to prevent impingement or pressure, skin irritation, and possible snagging of clothes. Attention must be made to bony prominences, in this case, the ulnar styloid, so the orthosis does not create compressive forces that would cause discomfort for the client. The proximal edge of the orthosis should be flared from the inside to the outside to allow for elbow flexion.
The initial goal of rehabilitation after a fracture of the distal radius is to regain functional wrist extension. To achieve this goal, when creating the orthosis, you should put the client into slight extension, about 10 degrees. This is advantageous because it will create a balance across the wrist joint. It will allow the client to use the hand functionally, such as making a fist or doing other grasping patterns. A custom orthosis is also preferred so that it will fit comfortably and allow full range of motion at the thumb and the fingers.
Susie, how are you feeling after your surgery?
A little stiff, but I'm okay. I'm a survivor.
Do you have any pain?
Just a little bit.
Okay, that's to be expected after surgery. So I'm glad that we finished crafting your orthoses that you'll be wearing. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about some things to keep in mind while you're wearing it.
Okay.
So because this orthosis is going to cover the back and the front of your arm on both sides, you might find that you get a little sweaty or there might be a little perspiration.
Yeah.
especially in Arizona. So this is a stockinette that you can slip on to your forearm, and this can help to control for some of that moisture and maybe keep your skin from getting irritated. But if it's not for you, you can wear the orthotic without it.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you how to put it on, and then how to take the straps off, and then you're going to show me, just so that we're both on the same page. So when you put it on, I want you to tighten the straps so that they're tight enough that you have a good secure fit. You really want this to stabilize your wrist while it heals. If it's too tight though, you might feel like tingling and numbness in your fingers, and that wouldn't be good. So you want a firm fit, but not so tight.
Okay.
And definitely not anything where you're wearing it with the straps off, because then it's not doing its job. And I'm going to suggest to you that every time you take it off, you take it off from the palm side. And this way, you always know how to put them back on, and they stay in the right spots. So I'm going to have you show me how you would put it on.
Okay. My first orthosis. So, okay, this side.
Yep. Good. And how does that feel?
It feels nice. Feels really nice. Feels secure.
Great. And why don't you show me how you would take the straps off? Good. And you can go ahead and strap them right back on, because I'll send you out of here wearing that. So something to keep in mind is that when you're wearing this, you can really go about your day as you would, but try to keep it on because you need that support right now. If you were to take it off to kind of wash your hand, make sure you don't leave it in a hot place like a car or outside, because it would potentially melt. Some other things to keep in mind is that if you have any pinching or rubbing and anything is uncomfortable, I'm going to give you my card, and I want you to please call me so that I can make any adjustments needed, because I really want you to wear this so that your wrist can heal.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear it. I'll do what you ask.
Okay. And I want to know if you have any questions for me.
I can still cook with this. I can do most of my things, right?
Yep. And just making sure that you can wipe this down, you can clean this if anything gets on it, and just be careful when you're cooking with it around heat. Maybe try to use your left hand if you're reaching into the oven, but also maybe ask Bob to help you out in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's a big help. So.
Great. And I have it under my orders that Dr. Tennyson, you will be meeting in 10 to 14 days from now.
Yes. Yep. About 2 weeks from now.
Great. And so at that point, we're going to reevaluate your wrist, and he's going to take some x-rays and look at how your feeling's going. But between now and then, it's really important that you wear this.
Okay.
And then hopefully at that point, we'll be in a good spot to start moving the wrist around and getting range of motion back into your wrist.
Okay.
Is there-
Sounds like a deal.
Cool. Is there anything else I can do for you?
I think that's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.